This is an original Anderson air raid shelter. Now, this would be built at the bottom of people's gardens, so when they heard Hitler's Luftwaffe roaring above, they'd all come down here and congregate for safety. Now, it's this sort of simplicity that we're all being urged to go back to as the recession hits. We're being asked to tap into those survival skills, perhaps rationing. People would live very unluxurious lives down here in these air raid shelters.
I'm not sure really whether we can go back to that, Beverly. I think it's going to be quite hard for everybody. I'm sure it was very difficult during the war, but obviously everything was rationed. Food was rationed, clothes were rationed. People were encouraged to, actually have their own allotment, and they would have chickens, so they would actually grow a lot of their own food.
This country is at war with Germany.
And this was considered, it was in fact called the Chestergate Hotel, because we actually, I know, but actually to the people at the time, it had electric lighting, which hardly anybody would have had at home. It obviously had all the beds and everything, and people would bring in their bedding. I'm sure it wasn't really very nice. But it had flush, some of the toilets did actually flush. Now, most people would have actually had, if they were lucky, maybe a flushing outside toilet, but in the main, there wouldn't have been flush toilets. People were using tin baths, and they were using outside toilets that were emptied, I think, once a week at night.
The idea of rationing has come out of a survey in which more than 80% of elderly people said they were using useful hints and tips from the war to get through the recession.
You don't throw as much food away, you're more careful what you buy.
Well, I don't go to the supermarket as often. I try and, and be more careful in what I buy.
Well, I suppose the government wants everybody to spend, don't they? But just can't afford to do it.
I think there's simple things like, instead of going out to the shops and buying new clothes, adapting old ones, and obviously mending the ones that you've got, clothes swapping parties, that sort of thing, so that you're not having to buy new all the time.
So recession means recycling and learning to do without those little luxuries as we had to during the war. Beverly Walkden for Channel M News.